In this video, I'll rank the 10 strongest characters in Invincible as of Season 4. I also compare my list to this article by Screen Rant, which is notorious for creating these ass lists, probably using AI or something. Because what do you mean he hasn't killed any Viltrumites yet? What is this then? I'll be using show feats only, so no, stuff like this doesn't count. I will also be keeping track of the biggest gap between my and their list. For example, if I have a character at 4, and I have the same character at 6, and the gap is 2. If a character is not present in the top 10 at all, I'll assume he's at 11, meaning the biggest possible gap is 10, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but let's just say it turned out to be pretty high. And with that, let's start.
I told you to go. You should have listened to him.
At the 10th and the 9th spots, I have the Executioners, individually. One of them is able to fight Battle Beast for quite some time, although yes, in the end he loses, and that is considering Battle Beast is at a disadvantage here. He can't really move optimally in space, and eventually he just hibernates. To be fair, Battle Beast is portrayed to be well above normal Viltrumites, so being able to go toe-to-toe with him for at least some decent amount of time is pretty impressive, I'd say. The other Executioner fights 2 versus 1 against Nolan and Alan, although those are also at a disadvantage because they're nearly dead. And of course there has to be some weird inconsistency, because right before this fight, the Executioner was supposed to kill Nolan, using this chop trick, probably one-shotting him, which is consistent with the narrative and the overall names of these guys, the Executioners. But then he's stronger than them individually, sure, but he doesn't one-shot him. He also seemingly deals more damage to Alan than Anissa does. These feats are pretty good nonetheless, and I think they place the Executioners at their deserving spots. As for the Screen Rant list, they don't even have the Executioners at all, so the gap is now 2. And at the 10th spot they have Oliver. Yeah, so what's the reasoning? Already, Oliver has proven that he can hold his own in a fight when he decimated the Mauler twins within seconds. So... did they even know where the Mauler twins scale? Like, what feats did they have? Why decimating them even counts as something meaningful? They get beaten by everybody from time to time. They were scared of Immortal, like, what are we doing? When Invincible was down, he was the one who took over the job of fighting villains.
How much does this job pay?
However, it is worth noting that Oliver is not likely going to be as powerful as Mark or any other Viltrumites. He strikes in DNA, though it has advantages, is a drawback because it essentially is not pure. So, if Oliver is not likely going to be as powerful as Mark or the other Viltrumites, then why is he above the other Viltrumites? Why is he above the Executioners? Why is he above, apparently, I don't know, not Lucan? What is happening? Yeah, and at the 9th spot they have Lucan, and I guess this is pretty fair, but let's look at the reasoning. Lucan by far has proved to be one of the strongest members of the Viltrum Empire.
If that were true, Lucan, you'd be winning.
In the recent installment of the Prime Video superhero show, Lucan's fighting skills aren't given enough time to shine. So, like, why is he here? However, during the battle with the Coalition of Planets, the Viltrumite soldier more than held his own against Thetis. No, that's not what happens. He kind of just saves Anissa, Thetis pushes him back, and they leave. Like, that's all of the fight. Alright. I'll stop beating a dead horse.
Based on bone and muscle density scans, the simulations give Mark a less than 18% chance of surviving a combat encounter with her.
Then there's Anissa. She dominates Season 2 Mark. That is the Mark who's supposed to be decently stronger than himself who fought on Thraxa. And that was the Mark that could have beaten Thula if he wanted to and actually committed. The same Thula who can fight Battle Beast. That is gonna be weird when I get to him. Other than that, she can somewhat fight Nolan, although he definitely comes on top. If she's supposed to be a speedster, then she's doing a pretty bad job at this. She moves as fast as these 3, and she's ultimately unable to catch up to the squad, unlike Lucan and Chase, who can intercept it. She pretty confidently gets her ass beat by Thetis, although on the other side, she is able to fight Tech Jacket, and even win. And actually, this is pretty curious. We agree on something. Anissa's at 8, but I really like this reasoning for why she's at 8. So, when Anissa arrived in Invincible Season 2, she was proof that whatever strength we had seen Omni-Man exhibiting, it was nothing compared to what the Viltrumites were capable of. So, unless they don't have Omni-Man here at all, why is Anissa below him? Like, literally, it was nothing compared to what the Viltrumites were capable of. As Seasoned Warrior, Anissa is easily one of the strongest characters in Invincible so far. She is brutal, dangerous, and a methodical fighter whose control is terrifying. What does this even mean, like, methodical fighter whose control is terrifying? What control feats does she have? Like, she beats up Season 2 Mark, that's cool and all, like, why couldn't Omni-Man do the same? Invincible Season 4 didn't focus on the elite warrior in the same way that the show's other installments did. However, her strength is nothing to sneeze at. There are actually very few fighters in the series that can come out... There are actually very few fighters in the series that can come out unscathed in a fight with Anissa. Well, that's true, I guess. Only like Thrag can do this, but like, is that an argument really? She has demonstrated time and time again why she is a part of Thrag's inner circle. So she has like 4 fights in the series so far. In the 2 of them, she gets absolutely mocked and ragdolled. In one of them, it's like 50-50 or 40-60. And in the other one, she beats up Season 2 Mark. So that's why she is the part of Inner Circle of Thrag? Jesus.
You know, on my planet, a sock on the door means somebody's
Yeah, it's the same here.
Next up is Alan. He completely no-sells a punch from Anissa. And overall, he is portrayed to be around the level of Omni-Man. Against the Ragnars, they both did pretty bad. They're both firmly about Lucan and can fight 2 Welchemites at once. Although, of course, there has to be some weird inconsistency, because he states that if he and Tech Jacket were to attack, what's his name again, and Lucan, they would have died. And that is kinda what happens, up until Space Racer appears. How do I make sense of this? Is Tech Jacket that useless, or are these two just that strong? Anyway, in all the fights, he's pretty much above any Welchemite he fights, although the strongest one is Anissa, who he is directly above. He has good showings, but is held back by the fact that he fights multiple people at once, and that he has to kinda babysit Tech Jacket. And once again, actually, Alan is at the same spot as mine. Let's see the reasoning. Of all the members of the Coalition of Planets, Alan has shown the most growth. No Battle Beast? Created as a weapon that can stand against the Welchemites, the leader of the Coalition is easily one of Invincible's strongest fighters. I guess, yeah, top 7 is surely one of the strongest fighters. When Alan was introduced to the series during its second run, he didn't seem like much of a threat. What? However, after the upgrades that Theos gave him, Alan is now capable of fighting against the Welchemite and drawing blood. So, what upgrades did he give him? Why is this plural? Though his fighting skills are truly admirable, the end of Invincible Season 4 showed that the alien could be the only one who can defeat the Welchemites. That is f***ing bullshit. All of this is just garbage. What is their reasoning? Why is he above Anissa? I guess you can say it's because he can draw blood, but that's all? Well, I guess that's my reasoning as well, so...
I love you. I killed Conquest! I'll kill you too!
Season 4 Mark is in a weird spot. On one hand, he shouldn't be much stronger than his Season 3 counterpart. On the other...
I killed Conquest!
That is his biggest feat by far, so far. I even made a poll on my channel, and most people actually thought he is now stronger than Conquest. Even though, at best, what you can say here is that they're equal. They both would have died, had it not been for the outside interference. Although realistically, it's not even that. So, once again...
Come on! Let's go!
End of Season 3 Mark gets his ass absolutely whooped by Conquest. The old man himself states that.
You still sure this is gonna go your way?
damn near certain.
Mark is not even close to Grandpa, but then like a month passes, and he's apparently stronger than him. You can probably say he gets a rage amp, and that's how he even beats the half-baked Conquest, and in the rematch he is super enraged, because Carl was about to slap his brother. But as he states himself,
Getting mad doesn't make you stronger. That's not how it works.
at best, it makes his endurance better. Yeah, without his rage, Mark probably wouldn't have endured the spaghetti scene. But that's it, he shouldn't be near Conquest level. If the old guy wanted to, he could have just pierced Mark from the start, and he wouldn't have time to asphyxiate him. It's just the plot made Conquest unbelievably stupid. It's not like there's a lot of battle defeats in Invincible. Kinda hard to make a complex battle between people who can fly hard and punch fast. Is what I could have said, but no, Invincible just punch and kick, and see who's stronger, that's all. But this one specifically is insanely outrageous. Although I gotta say, Mark's durability got significantly better. He ate those punches. He's also strong enough to not let Conquest break his grip. So yeah, he's pretty strong. But now up to the screen art placement. You won't believe that, but Mark is also at the same... No, he's actually at the 4th spot, and let's hear their reasoning. Invincible is now far from the kid who was beaten to a pulp by his father in the show's first season. He has survived countless fights against some of the show's toughest villains, even when he sustained life-threatening injuries. Despite being the protagonist, Mark is actually invincible. Haha. So this is just like bullshit for the readability time. Currently, Invincible isn't capable of defeating Thrag, even with his GDA training and new fighting skills. In fact, he was nearly killed again by Conquest. Conquest. So they actually gave him no scaling. They said that he almost died by Conquest. They didn't say he beat him. So it's like what they said is that Thrag is above him, Conquest is above him, and that's all. He doesn't have any positives. Like, why is he top 4? What is going on? But before I get into the top 5, let's look at the honorable mentions. The first one is General Krieg, who's just ass. Like, he doesn't win a single fight in the series. To be fair, he only fights like top tiers, but still, he only gets beaten by them. There is even a theory out there that he's a general not because he's so strong or something, but because he's like a good strategist or he's just done a lot for the Belgium Empire. I wouldn't be surprised if Season 3 Mark could beat him up, which is pretty funny considering how Krieg behaves himself around Conquest.
Sire, if you will allow me to explain.
On your knees, animal.
Next up is Lucan, and I guess I could have placed him at like the 9th or the 10th spot. He's like the part of this main Velchumite side cast that's always on screen. He's like in most of the fights, and that's good. He doesn't fumble too hard. He's alive up to this point, so he's decent. But like Nolan beats him up, Theros beats him up, Mark beats him up, Alden beats him up. Not too badly, I might add, but still, he's clearly below them. Then there is Phantom Eve. She could potentially be top 1, but Kirkman's great writing, which is praised by everybody apparently, doesn't allow her to use her abilities in a special or effective way. Like, what happens when she rearranges the atoms in Thrag's body and turns him into a rock? What happens when she stops the blood circulation flow? I'll tell you what, he'll die. But no, the best I can do is a fucking shield and helmet and gloves. Like, are we dead ass?
Molecule by molecule! Atom by atom!
Even then, she has some pretty good feats, like she's able to react to Conquest, and she doesn't die instantly.
Cecil! I need you, Cecil!
And then her limiter is removed, and she can finally rearrange the atoms in Conquest's body. But instead of that, she just fries him. Unfortunately, I didn't think anyone's gonna leave her like that on the brink of death, so that's not a factor. And without it, she's like, I don't know where she scales, but definitely not in the top 10. Then there is Space Racer, and I think he's pretty good, but not in the 1v1. This was clearly shown when he got ganked and needed some serious support. He has like the best attack in the whole series though, the atomizing laser that passes through anything. It was dodged by Thrag and Anissa, so he doesn't have the best speed, although to be fair it was pretty far. He is legit like the best support in the series, other than Eve maybe, but how do I put this? This is the main list, or the core list, so goodbye. And lastly, there is Mr. Liu. He is unkillable, and he beats up Season 3 Mark, so theoretically he could just be the strongest character. Unless you believe Velchumites can blow up the planets on their own, then they just blow up the Earth and he would just die. Still, if it's a 1v1 with no strings attached, the other guy could just float around and look for the main body while the dragon just, I don't know, tries to follow him. And with those henches out of the mind, let's get back to the top 5. Yes, I have Omni-Man at barely top 5. The reason I have him above his son is the narrative. I think if it was the case, it would have been stated. Mark surpassing his father is a pretty pivotal moment, and it would have been wasteful to just omit it. For reference, in the comics, Conquest states Mark is almost as strong as Nolan. Once again, the show and the comics are different, and I'm not using this panel from the comics to show that Nolan is stronger in the show. I just want to say that statements like this are important, and there hasn't been one yet. Feats-wise, they both beat Anissa, both beat Lucan, although against Conquest, Mark does significantly better, even on space. When Nolan sneak attacks Conquest, the latter almost immediately recovers. When Mark does the same thing, he's able to land 5 more free hits. But then against Thrag, Mark can do anything. His strongest punch is literally no soul by Thrag. He really should have hit him harder. I'm sure Thrag would love it, but as for now,
I'm not impressed.
Nolan's hit though can at least push him away, and that's with a broken arm. Although the arm is different, so maybe that doesn't matter too much. Mark can also force him away, but that was not a hit and more like a push. All his other attacks literally do no damage, to the point that his don't even have sounds. Durability-wise, Mark almost faints from one punch. Nolan, though, can take a few punches with seemingly no problem, although yes, those are the holding back punches. By the way, fun fact, he has to really hold his punches here, because he is so powerful that he has 2 left hands. Yeah, his thumb is apparently not here. And he also tanks this air bending technique, as well as this punch. Those two are at least animated and looking like the 2 hardest punches in the whole series so far, and he completely tanked them. Much better than this hit from War Woman. Inconsistency, or did Nolan get that much stronger? Speed-wise, Nolan is stated to be slower than Anissa,
She moves too fast. Quicker than Nolan, even.
and he cannot react to Thrax's theta skill, like completely. Mark on the other hand can turn into Paul. Although, check this out, when Mark pulls Thrag away, Omni-Man actually dodges his punch. I'd say that's hella impressive, unlike the animation. Remember these never pause Naruto videos? Yeah, never pause Invincible. By the way, to show how much stronger Omni-Man is than a normal Viltrumite, look at this. He just no diffs Lucan and Chase, just throws him like shit. So overall, I think Nolan is faster, stronger, more durable, has more experience, obviously, and should beat Mark, who has like endurance and better pain tolerance, I guess. Screen Rando says that Nolan is top 3, which is like a consistent take across multiple people I've seen, but let's see the reasoning. When Nolan was pretending to be a hero back in Invincible Season 1, there was a reason that he was one of the characters that villains feared the most. No one on Earth had what it took to bring the Viltrumite down. So that's false. Hail Mary from Season 1 Episode 7 actually beat him up and would have won had it not been for Invincible. Although yes, he was tired, but still, while he's had a few ups and downs during Invincible, he is still a tough soldier whose Viltrumite training led him to become one of the most powerful warriors in the Empire. Again, where is the scaling? Invincible Season 4 gave us a glimpse of why Nolan was regarded highly among his peers. So far in the show, the only characters that can bring Nolan down are the pure Viltrumites and maybe Alan the Alien. Nolan isn't in the Grand Regents League, but he still has enough strength to at least land a few punches when it comes down to it. So the reasoning he is top 3 is because he has enough strength to land a few punches when it comes down to it. Okay, so the only characters that can bring Nolan down are the pure Viltrumites and maybe Alan the Alien. So how about Battle Beast? Or how about Adam Eve, if we're arguing that she's above Alan the Alien? This list is bananas. Battle Beast is next, and this is the most shaky placement. Show Battle Beast doesn't have many feats, so I don't know if this is a fair game.
Fair game. This term pleases me.
Okay, so he beats the Executioner, while being at a disadvantage. He presumably beats this Viltrumite, but he's featless, so that goes nowhere. He beats Krieg, who's more or less a fraud, and fights Thula. Yeah, he fights her and doesn't beat her. It's the same Thula who almost got beaten by Season 2 Mark, and I highly doubt she got that much stronger. I still think he would have won, but the fact that they are at least somewhat relative is not a good sign for Battle Beast. Although yes, he's at a disadvantage because he fights in space, he probably, logically, should have less experience fighting there. His flying ability should also be worse than the Viltrumites, because if the jetpack was so good, why wouldn't Viltrumites use it? He gets handled by Thrag pretty handily, and even the fact that he is at a disadvantage doesn't really help him because he doesn't even react to him. On the bright side, his face doesn't become much when meeting Thrag's fist. All in all, it doesn't look like he's really deserving to be at the 4th spot so far. And there is only one more fight to look at. And it doesn't show much either. Battle Beast beats up these random nobodies and Season 1 Mark, who doesn't scale to top 10 at all. The only thing that he really has going for him is the fact that Omni-Man was watching. He was watching and he did nothing. Well, he called these nobodies, but let's be honest, that didn't really do anything. So the argument is, he was too afraid to come down and fight Battle Beast himself. Thus, Battle Beast is stronger. And I know this is incredibly contentious. Because first of all, how would Omni-Man even know his strength? If I am not mistaken, Nolan didn't even write about Battle Beast and his race in the books. And by feats, he's only shown like being able to beat Season 1 Mark with no difficulty. Omni-Man could obviously do the same, so there is no basis to think who's stronger. But if that is the case, then why did he left his son to die? More so, Viltrumites were never scared to fight anybody. It's their whole philosophy, like, kill or be killed, or I don't know, become stronger. If you can't beat it, then you should die. Nolan fights Thrag well knowing he can't beat him. So what exactly am I supposed to make of this situation? Key takeaway, if you think this argument is valid, then yes, he is top 4. If you don't, then he is concretely by feats like top 9 about the Executioners. I think both interpretations are valid. I just chose the former one because it's funnier and it's gonna cause more chaos in the comments. As for the screen rant, Battle Beast is actually at number 6, which is pretty close. So sadly, Battle Beast didn't have a lot of screen time in Invincible Season 4. However, his past fights in the show's previous seasons prove that he has what it takes to defeat the Viltrumites after he brutally beat one of the aliens during Alan and Nolan's prison break. Sure, he still hasn't killed any Viltrumites yet, but from what we've seen, Battle Beast is more than capable of doing so. So first of all, We have seen it on screen, like literally. The guy in space, he just died. Are we just ignoring that? And if so, then if we haven't seen this yet, then how can we know that he's more than capable of doing so? Are you okay? Like, what?
Where is the betrayer? Here.
Theros the Viltrumite is at a third spot. Now it's pretty simple really. He has one good feat that puts him above the rest. That is finally his last feat ever. A feat that he performed half a second away from death. And that is reacting to Thrag. Or as some nerds would say, he's not reacting, he's perceiving. Because his body didn't move away. But it actually moved a little. And these two didn't perceive it at all. So he has a pretty considerable speed edge. Other than that, he dog walks Krieg and Anissa, and he also for some low reason never uses his grow taller technique, which he used in this shot to be as tall as Alan, and all the other time he's like normal sized. Overall, I'd say he's the second fastest person in the story right now, has more experience, has some pretty good IQ feats, and can overall beat anyone up to this point. Except for the top two, of course. But first, let's look at the screen rest placement. And this is gonna be pretty funny because Thetis is not on the list. Yeah, so the gap is now 8, and I just have no words. They apparently put fucking Oliver at the 10th spot, they put Lucan at the 9th spot, but they got no Thetis. They also got Adam Eve at 5. So let's see their reasoning. Adam Eve's powers have been continually evolving since Invincible Season 1. The best proof of just how powerful Adam Eve is when she not only managed to last during the fight with Conquest, but also delivered an energy blast that weakened him, giving Mark the chance to defeat the villain. The only proof that she's top 5 apparently is that she lasted during her fight with Conquest. And I guess that's fine, that's actually good enough, but she didn't do anything up until this energy blast, which she cannot do normally. So what are we doing? By the way, it takes like 1 minute to charge it. Either that, or she just let Mark suffer, and Conquest tell him about his deepest feelings for no apparent reason. Speaking of Conquest...
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Conquest is number 2. The reason he's so high is because he can do this. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think this should kill anybody on this list except for number 1. And that's all. What else does he need? I could of course tell you he has some pretty good durability, probably the highest experience in the verse, unless we're counting this Satan. He recovers fast, his strength is proven by the reaction of the Viltrumites when Mark says he killed him.
I killed Conquest. I'll kill you too.
There's also the fact that his musical theme was called the second strongest Viltrumite, although to be fair now it's called Mr. 10 Times Worse. Now, if it's in character, he may just play with his food and die like a idiot. After all, what stopped him from using the chop trick in the beginning of the fight? No one knows. You can probably argue he loses to Thetis sometimes because it's faster, but other than that, he should beat anybody else pretty firmly, except for one of course. But before that, let's look at the screen rest placement. This is gonna be the funniest shit, but Conquest is not on the list. So yeah, Conquest is not on the list. Instead of him, at the second spot is Krieg. Yeah, the same Krieg who got beaten by pretty much anybody. I'm pretty sure Oliver could have beaten him if he actually wanted to. Let's see the reasoning. Thrag's second in command, Krieg, is rarely seen in battle. Already a good start. Mostly he's in the shadows, planning the Viltrumites' attacks. As a general, Krieg has a tactical training that makes him extremely deadly. After all, there is a reason that he is Thrag's right-hand man. As one of the oldest Viltrumites, Krieg's years of experience in conquering are only second to Thrag's. Or you know what, I'm not entirely sure, but maybe his years of conquering are actually second to this guy. He literally has conk in his name. For most of Invincible Season 4, the general is as usual in the background. We do, however, get to see him in action when he and his soldiers attack the coalition of planets. Oh yeah, the same attack that got him beaten up by Thetis and then he just ran away with the tail between his legs. And all of that bullshit just for Conquest not to be here. By the way, if you're arguing that Conquest is not top 10, then why is Adam Eve, whose only reasoning to be top 5 apparently, is because she held against Conquest?
That's not how it works!
How do we beat him?
Mark.
Grand Region track is top 1, it's pretty self-explanatory, and even Screenrant got it right. As for the overall list, the gap is 9, meaning my top 2 is not even present in their list. The whole top 10 is filled with fallacies, bad takes, unprovable assumptions, and contradictions that are formed in the same sentence, and overall it's just dog shit, just as I expected. As for the Screenrant list, I think it was pretty decent. Write your thoughts in the comments, like it if you enjoyed it, but if you want to set a dislike, ask yourself one question.
Are you sure?